Hello, and welcome to a tutorial series on how to make a game in Roblox Studio. In this video, we will be going over some of the basic features of Roblox Studio, as well as adding some of our first game pieces. Let's begin. We're going to begin by downloading Roblox Studio. In Google, or whatever search engine you use, just type in Roblox Studio. You should see this link for the roblox.com, Roblox Studio. Click on it. Should take you to this page. Just simply click on Start Creating. Once this is loaded up, it should take you to this box, Get Started Creating Your Own Experiences. Click on Download Studio. Up here, you should get an execution file to launch the studio. Click on that. And then it will begin loading, and this might take a few minutes. After Roblox Studio has downloaded, you should see this window, and in it are a bunch of templates, some of which, like the one we'll be working with, is a base template that's relatively blank, except it will have a base plate and a spawn location added to it. And then there's a classic base plate, which doesn't have the spawn location. You would have to insert that in, and there are some other differences with it, but it's very similar to this base plate, which we will be using. Then you have a bunch of other templates that have pre-rendered scenes in it. As you can see here, there's a village, castle, suburban, racing, island, city, and then you even have some templates that have already the skeleton of a game already placed into it. So let's go ahead and get started and click on base plate. And this might take a few seconds. So once the editor has opened, we're going to learn how to move around. The very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hit my D key, and it's going to move my camera to the right. My A key will move my camera to the left. My W key will move forward, and my S key will move backwards. My arrow keys do the same thing. Then I can also take my mouse wheel and I can scroll it forward and back like so. I can hold down my mouse wheel and I can move up and down and side to side just like this. And I can take my right mouse button and I can rotate all the way around. So if you'd like, you can pause this and take a few minutes to kind of play with the directions. It's very good to get used to how the directionality or moving your camera around is going to work when making a game. So now let's go over to the right-hand side here, and let's go down to this spawn location. Now, actually, in your Explorer window, this Workplace tab might be like that. Just click it with your left mouse button and it will drop down. So click on spawn location, and now you can see that there's this light blue line around it showing that we selected it. And if you go over here to the upper left hand corner up here, you'll see this select button to indicate that we selected it. And you'll also see a few other buttons, and this first one says move. If you left click that, you'll see that these arrows have shown up on its sides. And these, as the words indicate, are going to allow us to move our spawn location. So we can take this, for example, and left click it and see how the fist grabs it. We can lift this up, move it down. We can move it anywhere we want. We can go over here, move it this way, and move it that way. Anywhere you'd like to put it here on the base plate. And another nifty trick to show you at this time is that let's say you didn't want to move it that way and you wanted to send it back to where it originally started. You can just hit the Control key and the Z key and it will move it back. You can undo your very last mistake by hitting Control Z. So I moved it 3 times, I raised it up. I pulled it over this way and then I pulled it over this way. So I hit Control Z 3 times and it just moved it right back to its original position. And so if I go up here next, you'll see we have a scale button. And right here we have these 3 different colored dots. And this will allow us to change the size of our object. I can make it wider, longer, taller. And I'm going to hit Control Z again, just to bring it back to its original size. Next one up is the rotate button. And as you can guess, This will allow us to rotate this object on these different axes right here, just like that. And if I go further along, you'll find right here, you'll see material, and I can drop this down, and right here, I can change the material of the object. I can say, okay, I want this to be grass, and then it's grass. Or if I wanted it to be brick, if you zoom in, you can see that it's brick now. So then I can also do the same thing with the color. I can click on color, and now I can make this bright green. Or I can make it red, whatever color I want. I can do all that from over here. And also, if you look over here, there's another, it says base plate. And that's this giant gray plate sitting right here. So you can see it's already highlighted with the rotate arrows, and I can click it with the movement arrows. And it's pretty big, so I have to scroll out to be able to see where the arrows are for me to move it. And now, as you can see, I can't see my spawn location anymore. And I guess I could take the time to zoom in, but if you want to save on a little time to do those sort of things, you can just click the spawn location again and hit F, and it's going to zoom you back to that object. So with the spawn location selected, let's go down to the right-hand corner, and you can see it says Properties, Spawn Location, and then Spawn Location again in quotation marks. And this box right here is basically all the properties of whatever object you selected. If I click on base plate, it'll change the part that's the base plate here, this big dark gray field that's right here. So click on the spawn location again, and if you go down here and it says brick color, if you click on it, it will give you all the colors just like this did up here. So you can just change it to whatever color you want. Let's go back to the stone gray. And right here, material, it says sand. And I can just change it the same way I changed materials up here. I can go ahead and make it granite. I can go ahead and make it neon, and then whatever I want. So then I'll just go back to plastic. So I can change things down here as well as change them up here. Same thing with the position of things. Right here it says transform, and right here it says origin position, and it says 10, 0.5, or 0. It actually might just say for your origin position, it might say 0 for that one. But anyway, the point is that this is the position that the spawn was centered on, and if you go right below it, you'll see X, Y, Z, and you can actually move this by just putting in numbers in the same way you move these arrows. So here's X, and X is actually this red arrow right here, and if you go up here to the right hand corner, it will also tell you those orientations and what direction you're facing. We're facing the right side of it. So right here is the X-axis, the green is the Y-axis, and the Z is the blue one. And if I wanted to, I can just type in, let's say, the number 10, and it will move that way. Let's put ourselves in a little bit of better position to see it. If I put 0, it will move it back. And to move in the other direction, I would have to hit -10 and 0 to move it back. And I can do this for all 3 positions. I can do this for the orientation, which is the rotation right here. I can change this up by, let's say, just turning it 90 degrees like that. I'll just put it back to 0. And there's a lot of other different properties that one could change from this window. We'll be going over most of them later on. One other I'll go over is right down here. It's the size. This is the size of our block. You can, just like up here with the scale button, you can go right here, and then you can simply just say, I want this to be 50, and it will be that big tall. It'll move it up, or not move it up, it will make it taller. So now that we've toured some of the features of the studio, let's get started in making our game. First, let's go over here and click on our base plate, the large dark gray field that's here underneath our spawn point. And let's shrink it down a little bit. Let's go down here to our size property. And in the X column, let's make this 30. In the Z column, let's make this 30. We'll have a square here. And in the Y column, we'll make this 2. And we'll raise it up here just so it touches our spawn point. So we have a nice platform for our player to start off on. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add a little bit of a border to this. And to do that, we're going to right click and just click duplicate. And now we've made another base plate right here, which you can't see because it's right on top of this base plate. But we're going to be able to find it by clicking on this arrow, and we're going to move it all the way out here like this. And now to make our border, we're simply going to go over here to our scale, grab this, and just push it in so it looks like a little border there. Actually, let's just check the size of this. Maybe we can round it off. Actually, that's good. 2, 2, and 30. Next, we're going to make another duplicate. We're going to duplicate this thing we just made here. And go to our move, and we're going to just place that on the other side. So you can see now we have 2 borders. Actually, let's add some color to things so we don't confuse anything. So we're just going to click on our original base plate, this one right here. We'll go up to color, and actually we'll use that one. Let's use some bright colors. So I'm going to use purple. You can use whatever color you want. We're going to go to the other 2. Go to color. We'll make that yellow. We'll make the other one yellow. Like that. And now we're going to put in the other ends of the border. And to do that, we're going to just simply repeat what we've done. We're going to hit duplicate, and we're going to pull this out. But now we have to turn it. And then there's a couple ways we can do that. We can click on the rotate, and you could spin it around using this axis right here, the green one, like that. Or if you want, when you have it selected, you can hit Control and R, and it will turn it 90 degrees. So you choose which way you want to do it. So I'm going to move this here, pull it back, and it's a little short. So we're going to go back to our scale. We'll pull one piece in this direction and pull the other piece in that direction. Looks like this one didn't quite make it. There we go. And now we have a border on this side. And now we're simply going to right click, duplicate, go back to move. We'll try and, well, let's swing around a little bit to find the other arrow. There it is. And we're simply going to pull our last border right there. And lo and behold, here is your first game piece. And actually, while we're at this, let's add a little color to the spawn location. And let's make this, I don't know what we want to make it. I'll just make it purple like the top for now. You can still see it and everything. And another thing we want to do, I want to get rid of all these this grid, these blocks. If you go under all these base plates right here, you can see the texture. Let's just delete them all to make our blocks here look nice and smooth. We don't need them for anything. So we're going to take a minute and we're going to talk a little bit about the physics of the parts we have created. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to click on the first base plate. That's the middle one right here. And I'm going to scroll down to this area that says behavior. And there's a bunch of words here: anchored, archivable, can collide, can touch, and locked. And we will get to all of them as we go along. But we're going to talk about this first one right here, this one that says anchored. And if I scroll over it, some words will appear. I'll read them. Determines whether or not the physics acts upon the part. If true, part stays anchored in space, not moving regardless of any collision forces acting upon it. If false, physics works normally on the part. So what that means is that when this is checked, and in here you'll see the words true and not true. So right now it's checked, and that means it's true. So when it's true, there are no physics acting on any of our parts. These things will simply float in the air anywhere we place them. And if we uncheck it, physics will act upon this and it will fall just like anything would fall if it was hanging in space. So if I go here and I uncheck it, I'm going to hit play, and my Roblox character it's gonna take a second to appear. And as you can see, it happened really fast, but the part just fell off and it went down. So we're gonna hit stop. And that happened because this was unchecked. So now I can check it again. And if I hit play, give my little guy another second. And now the centerpiece does not fall. It just stays where it's at because it's anchored. So let's go ahead and make our first obstacle. If you look up here in the right-hand corner, you'll see this funny shaped object right here, and over here on mine it says back, and over here it says right. And if I click on back, what it'll do, it'll take me to the back of the platform here. And if I use the right mouse button and I sort of swing around, as you can see, I'm in front, and I'll just zoom back a little bit. Here is the front of the platform. So when our character spawns, he's going to be facing in this direction. So this is where we want to begin our obstacle right here. I'm going to take this over and I'm going to spin it around a bit so we're on the right hand side, or maybe a little bit on an angle so I can see what we're about to do. What we're going to do is we're going to build a few stairs. So I'm going to go here to this front base plate, whichever one it is. Oh, there it is. So we're going to take this base plate right here, and I'm going to duplicate this one like so. And go up here to our move, and I'm going to pull it out a little bit, and this will be our first stair. And actually, I'm going to take this and I'm going to rename it stair so it's not confused with the rest of this. And actually, just to organize ourselves a little better, I'm going to click on the spawn location and I'm going to hit Control, and I'm going to click on this base plate, actually all the base plates, and then I'm going to right click and I'm going to go down and I'm going to hit Group. And now what has happened is that we've taken all these objects and we've put them together into one object. These are what's called children of this object. These are all parts of this one object. So this thing, which is called model, but I'm going to rename this also, and we're just going to simply call this checkpoint. I can actually take this and move all these things all as one. If I were to grab this, the whole platform would move up or down. So back to our stair here, and I'm going to just close that out just to make everything look neater. Oops. I'm going to take our stair here, and I'm going to extend it out just a little bit. I'm going to go to our scale. I'm just going to pull it out a little bit further so it has so the player has a little bit room to land on it and then, get a little bit of a run and jump out of it. Let's see what size this is. Over here, the Z direction was 6. I think that's pretty good. I'm going to go over and look at it from the side a little bit, see how it lines up. For right now, that's good. We're probably going to make a little bit of an adjustment for it in terms of distance. We're going to see when we enact our player whether this is too far of a jump for him. But next I'm going to do, actually, let's recolor it also. Let's go in order of colors of the rainbow. We have yellow in the front on the end of the platform. So the next one we'll use is orange. And then I'm going to go ahead, move, and I'm going to duplicate this one. Going to create ourselves another stair. We're going to move this out a little bit, and we're going to move it a little bit up. Let's see what we're looking at here. So maybe a little bit further out, maybe a little bit more up. We'll have to test it out when we get to our play portion. So now we'll make this one, we'll make this orange, red, and then we'll just keep going like this. We'll duplicate another. Move it out. Move it up. Go to this one, make it green. And we'll keep going with a few more stairs. Duplicate. Out. Up. We'll go with this one. We'll make it blue. And we'll do one more. And we'll make this one a dark purple. So it's sort of a rainbow stair over here. And I'll go over to dark purple. So now we're actually going to group our stairs together in the same way we did our checkpoint. Actually, let's test this out a little bit. Maybe we're going to lower this guy a little. Let's go ahead and hit play and see how easy it is for us to be able to run and climb these stairs. So I'm going to run forward, and I'm not very good at this. Let's stop and start again. Can't defeat my own game. So I'm sloppy because I'm just probably not a good player, but I can jump on the stairs. You'll probably do a better job than I did. You can hit stop. And right now I'll keep the stairs as is. Like I said, you can play around with this if you want them closer, farther apart, but I'm going to keep mine as is for now. I'm going to combine them all. I'm going to click on the first one, hit Control, then click on the second, third, fourth, and fifth. We're going to right click again, group it. It's going to say model, but I'm simply going to rename this stairs. Well, that's it for today. Like this video, subscribe to my channel, follow me on Facebook and Twitter, and support me on Patreon. All links are in the description below. See you next time.